All right, I think that's our cue.
Yes.
Welcome to the panel case study, YouTube royalty. We're going to have a really fun and great discussion with Rhett and Link here. And we encourage you at the end, we're going to open it up to questions. So please, as we're talking, be thinking of some really awesome questions to ask and come up to the microphone to ask them. But before we get off, let's get acquainted with Rhett and Link. We're going to show you a quick video to introduce you to them.
Please welcome Rhett and Link.
The team of Rhett and Link.
All the way from North Carolina, Rhett and Link.
Hey, I'm Rhett. And I'm Link.
But knowing what's in you, I can't sleep at night. My first VCR cost me $5,000. VHS is best. I'm a billionaire.
No, it wasn't a big deal. I mean, we just got some dynamite from his cousin Dale and blew up what we thought was an abandoned house. No, it wasn't abandoned. Well, nobody was killed. I mean, I think a kid lost a foot and a parakeet died.
Give me the phone.
Only on IFC. Viral sensations Rhett and Link are the commercial kings.
Where's the rest of it? This is it.
Real people, real businesses, real funny local commercials.
At the Red House, where black people and white people buy furniture.
Oh no, there's a bear in my bed.
No. Chuck Testa.
I gave the Heimlich to a horse choking on beef jerky. 2 hours later, he won the Kentucky Derby. I'm allergic to nothing. I'm allergic to weakness. I embrace my weaknesses and call them uniquenesses. I can drive a stick shift. Well, I can golf. Well, I can make it look like my thumb is coming off. Hello, hello, hello.
Rhett and Link. Why even promote this now? Really brilliant work, though. Rhett and Link.
This is the moment we've been waiting for.
All right, now you can see why they are indeed YouTube royalty. And in fact, let's start off. If you are YouTube royalty, at what hierarchy are you? Are you kings, princes? Where are you in the YouTube royalty?
First of all, did you decide to call?
Yeah, we requested the most pretentious title for our panel as possible. And then we requested crowns. They did not oblige us there. We're definitely not kings. Link and I have talked about this. We know guys who I would say are YouTube kings. People who are...
and queens.
Yes, queens. Who
In
are
every
uploading
sense of the
videos
word.
and getting, we're not guys who are uploading necessarily weekly content that's getting 5 million views every time we upload something. Every once in a while we have something, in fact, strategically we released a viral video last week that is now at 1.5 million just so we could have some clout while we were up here. But
I think that we are, if we're close to royalty, the closest we can get, I think, is being like the king's food tasters.
Yeah.
Because we're like the guys on YouTube who are willing to try things always at risk of like a digital death, and then if it works, maybe, other people will emulate it.
But I think, rather than just a straight title, you guys have been at this for a long time, so you've survived and thrived on YouTube. And I want to talk a little bit about that, start off the discussion. YouTube, you guys started in June 2006, right? And you've been producing high quality content since then. What are some of the big differences when you started YouTube then in creating content and what YouTube is now in creating content?
I think the main difference is the amount of content that's being uploaded, which leads to the amount of competition, how difficult it is to break in. I mean, honestly, it's difficult to imagine what it would be like for us to try to break in at this point in the way that we did it, because it was so circumstantial and it was unplanned. It was back when you could just be kind of funny and have a few videos that broke out, get a homepage feature. We got a couple of those. And then the next thing you know, this ball began to roll, and we've just kind of built on that. I think it's very different today in how you would say you have to be much more strategic in your approach in order to break into YouTube today, I would say.
Right, and I would say that the expectations that all the viewers who watch YouTube videos bring are much more stringent now. It's like the bar is continually raised on a weekly basis. So, I mean, there's a lot of pressure to create things that are increasingly professional. You just can't get away with something just being great on one level anymore. The comment haters will come out of the woodwork if there's anything that they can pick apart.
Yeah, in 2006, if we did something on a green screen, people were like, "You did something on a green screen?"
Wow.
And now, if you do something on a green screen, they're like, "Your green screen really sucks." You know.
Your chroma's a little off.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
and they critique every little thing. So they're comparing it to professional content in a lot of ways.
So as that content has just exploded, right? Not just in the number of viewers, as you said, but also just the amount of content being produced and the high quality content. How do you make sure your content rises above the noise out there and you get your signal through?
Yeah, it's especially challenging for us because we don't just have one thing that we've done that was like our hit. Oh, you know, I expect amazing special effects or this particular type of comedy or something like that. We try so many different things that we're almost reinventing ourselves on a month-to-month basis. So, you know, it's more challenging, and you know, the answers are different depending. But you know, you become a student of the YouTube algorithms and the things that will get you to rise to the top within a certain category. So, you know, it's not just what's the content, but everything you put around it. Still, obviously, titles, thumbnails, things like that. But, you know, what category is it in? How many, are you fostering a lot of commenting, and are you prompting people to rate your video, to like or dislike your video? All those things are factoring into whether, you know, the YouTube algorithms are gonna spit you out towards the top where more people will see you.
Yeah, because we violate a couple of the cardinal rules, I think. You know, our scheduling is not consistent and our content is not consistent. I would never advise somebody to do what we did or even what we do. You know, we're trying to diversify and do a lot of things and do things in traditional media, and we do some commercial directing and that kind of thing. But if I was advising somebody to break into YouTube, I would be like, you got to have a consistent schedule and you got to have consistent content. Why we don't do that is because we're spread so thin that we really have to focus on, all right, let's just make sure we have a pretty big audience, but let's just make sure that if we're going to put something out there, it's going to please that audience and it's going to break through. And occasionally, it will take advantage of the algorithm. It will show up on the homepage. It'll kind of enter into that cycle, and it'll break 1 million views and you know, kind of develop a life of its own.
Let's talk about actually the audience for a second, because that's something in our discussions you've talked about. You seem to have a really good and respectful relationship with your audience. Can you describe for us a little bit about the role of the audience in not just the content you create, but also just in how you approach this whole phenomenon, just as Rhett and Link?
We try to connect with our audience as much as possible. You know, we started on our main channel. We determined that in order to achieve the level of quality that we want, okay, we're not going to be able to do something every week or sometimes every few weeks. So we said, okay, what are some other ways that we can connect with our audience? So we decided on our second channel to launch a daily show that will really, you know, connect with our audience. We're speaking directly to them. It's not just a music video, whether they like it and they share it if they like it, but we're talking directly to them on our terms in a way that's different than, say, a vlogger, in a way that we would want to do. But we want to be able to speak to them on a daily basis, say, hey, make us a part of your daily routine. If we have something we want to promote or we want you to take a look at, you know, we've won your routine, we've won your trust, so now we kind of have that platform. But they demand that. They want to always, you know, they want you to be there on a weekly basis or a daily basis.
Well, let's talk about that. Actually, for those who may not know, you launched a TV talk show, or in the process of launching a TV talk show. Explain a little bit about what's going into that, the thought behind it, what you're trying to do with it, and actually just what it is. What's the title, and where can people find it?
Well, we started it, its original incarnation was called Good Morning Chia Lincoln, and we did it early 2011. It was on our second YouTube channel. It was essentially, we would show up every day in our studio and just talk about something for about 10 or 11 minutes. And unedited, you know, there's no jump cuts. It's not like a Philip DeFranco kind of thing. It's a slower pace. We call it moving at the speed of conversation, which we see as, it's a little counter to the way that things are going in a lot of ways. But we were just experimenting with a way to kind of have a daily touch point with our audience, and we knew that we were in the process of finding out about whether or not Commercial Kings was going to get picked up and greenlit, and we were kind of anticipating that happening. So we were like, let's just kind of try something, because we're probably going to end up moving from North Carolina to LA to work on the show. And we did it every single day. Fans loved it. We had about 40,000 or so people who tuned in every single day. A very consistent, small but very consistent and committed fan base. And then we did it for about 6 weeks. and they demanded it more than anything else that we've done. I would say they were most vocal about bring back Good Morning Chia Lincoln.
And they use that voice.
They always, where they comment, they use this voice. And they asked us repeatedly to bring it back.
That's
and
another way to make your fans happy
is to make fun of them regularly.
Yeah, perform caricatures of their voices.
So we brought it back we're in our third week. It's called Good Mythical Morning. Our fans are called the Mythical Beasts. It's just a way for them to identify themselves. We've got a community, RhettandLinkCommunity.com. It's about 17,000 people who have created a profile at our website. They've given themselves a mythical beast name, whatever that might be. They may make it up. They may adopt something like a jackalope or something like that. There's a lot of kids. And and now we've gone up to about over 50,000 people are tuning in for every episode now. So we're slowly building it, and we made it into a podcast. It's charted in iTunes. So Good Mythical Morning is the name of the show. And that's, again, it's the same thing. It's unedited. It's a little more formatted. Of course, we shoot ahead of time. Sometimes we pre-produce episodes. It came out yesterday. It came out this morning. It'll come out tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're here in Miami, so we're not making it while we're here. So we've kind of pre-produced it and packaged it, and it's more predictable in terms of the schedule and that kind of thing. So I think we're seeing a better response.
So that kind of runs a little counter to what you said earlier, in how you at first didn't come out with content on a regular basis, and this seems to be like a pretty regimented thing. So if you could talk to me, and what I find fascinating about you guys in particular is just because you've been at this for so long and been consistently doing it so well for so long. And so what I want to find out is just, as you make that shift, you started off not kind of being consistent, but this is a way to do it, and it was a way to engage your fans. What other strategies have you adopted or thrown by the wayside since you started making content?
Yeah, I guess, are you saying we're waffling here?
No, I don't.
No? We build our brand off of our music videos and our viral videos that you saw in that reel, and we continue to do those because they get our name and they get our brand out there, and they grow our fan base. But like I said, the way that, we tried to do that on a more consistent basis and on our main channel, say, okay, every week we're going to make a main channel video. And the concepts and the quality just started to degrade, and we weren't getting the response that we would get when we would put more love and attention into our main channel videos. So I guess we're describing a two-pronged philosophy now, which is continue to help our brand reach out, with our music videos and high production content on our main channel, but then give the fans what they demand, align them in the most powerful way with that daily content that's low input, high output.
Yeah, so our highly produced stuff, we're just saying we're going to do everything we can to make this music video or this sketch or whatever it is, and we're going to focus mostly on music videos for this year. When it's ready, we release it. Mm-hmm. And hopefully it's good enough and shareable enough that it kind of breaks out. And then the production time that is required for Good Mythical Morning is essentially, for us, is the amount of time that it takes to sit down and talk for something for, 10 minutes. And then we have an assistant who puts that all together and produces it and edits it. So yeah, we're trying to just accomplish both things, but we haven't been able to successfully create that really great music video on a weekly basis and pursue the other things that we're doing in the traditional media opportunities and develop TV shows and movies and that kind of thing. We just don't have enough time.
Sure. And so that seems to make sense, right? So you have this kind of bed of content that you're coming out with every day, and as you get these viral spikes, you can push more and more people to the Good Mythical Morning.
Right.
And before we go on too much further, if there's a question, please feel free to step up to a mic and ask it, because I know Rhett and Link are great at taking audience participation.
You want to see a
rendition of what?
You want us to sing something right now?
We're not from an improv background. So we just explain that we have to work on things and make them perfect before we release them to the public.
How large is your company now? What have you grown to?
There's two of us, and then
The
one
question is,
assistant.
how large is the company? Sorry.
Okay, yeah.
It's still pretty small. How big is the company? Well, we just transitioned.
Well, there's you.
And you.
There's me.
And then we've got a guy who works about 30 hours a week.
Right.
That's how large it is.
That's another guy.
So pretty large, really, when you think
like
about it.
almost three, which is pretty. Pretty awesome.
We just moved from North Carolina to, which we had the same situation there. We had about 2,000 square feet of an office that we paid $1,000 a month for. And now we just work in my house because we're in Los Angeles and can't afford anything else right now. But yeah, so most of the stuff, when we need production help, we work with friends or we hire people to come in and work on a project. But the company's still pretty small.
Okay. And I have a question. So you just said that you're going to kind of focus on music videos going forward. What is it about the music video format that you like so much? What have you found in the videos you've created up till now? What's been successful for you? What do you think's really hit? And what are you going to apply moving forward?
I mean, we've always loved to write funny songs, and you know, we wrote the Facebook song in 2005, and then made a music video, put it on YouTube like very early on, and that's still like our most viewed video ever. So, I mean, it's something that sets us apart. There's few people that are making completely original comedy songs, and you know, we love to do it, and music always does really well on YouTube. You know, and if not that, you know, a zebra composed of two men in the suit is also a good thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, we might throw up a video with two guys in a zebra suit, which we did last week. So.
What's the name of that video, just so people can find it?
Dope Zebra.
Dope Zebra.
You
Dope
can Google
Zebra.
that.
And what quick log line for the Dope Zebra?
It's just a dancing zebra, really. I
Two
mean,
guys in a zebra suit going nuts.
Sold.
Yeah. It was funny, we released it on Thursday morning, and by Thursday afternoon, it had, as you might expect, a two-man zebra suit dancing. It began to go viral, and it was everywhere. And somebody in one of the articles wrote, "This is why the internet, this was invented, you know, for things like dope zebras," which might be a sad commentary on internet video, but, you know, you got to play the game.
We embrace that. You know, we embrace that. But at the same time, I don't want to be creating dope zebra videos for the rest of my life. I mean, we definitely want to train our audience to come along on the ride with us as we develop more scripted ideas and things like that. But it's definitely a challenge at this point in shaping expectations of a YouTube viewer instead of just coming for 4 minutes of magic, so to speak, to something that's closer to a 22 minutes, you know, like whether they would sit down in front of a television show, you know, seeing somebody's actually Googled the song already. I hear it.
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
So let's talk about that actually for a second, the audience. How do you see online audiences, and particularly the YouTube audience, how has that changed over the years? Do you think they're ready for, I mean, you've gone from like a short 4-minute video to now 11 minutes with Good Mythical Morning, and then you just talked about like 22 minutes. What do you think of the average YouTuber attention span as more and more people have come onto the service, and as online video has changed and people are used to watching longer form content online?
We've been talking a lot about that this week, you know, and YouTube is you know, YouTube obviously is making a big push right now, and hopefully it's a successful push to get more long form content online and get more people to consume it in that way. You know, but the environment is still an environment where it's so tempting to click away. It's not like watching television. When I watch television, my screen typically fills up with a video, and it's like, even if you've got, like, I've got a Google TV, and it's very difficult to figure out, well, how do I get to another video? So I'm pretty much committed, and then I kind of let the next one come up. But when I'm watching online, it's like, as soon as I lose interest, I have so many more options to just instantly click on something else. And I make that decision based almost exclusively on the picture, the thumbnail, and the title, right? And so as long as that's the environment, short form content is gonna rule the roost. It's when more and more people, and I think what Netflix is, we were just talking about this a second ago, what Netflix is doing with Arrested Development and bringing something back that everybody loves and everybody wants to see, and you can only see it by streaming. All of a sudden people are like, oh, I've got to change. I need to have this ability to stream. My dad needs to figure out how to stream content through his Blu-ray player, which he has, but he doesn't know how to use. And once people figure that out, then I think that, and YouTube develops that delivery mechanism, and all of a sudden it'll click and people are like, oh, I do have an attention span. It isn't that 13-year-old kids can't watch movies. They can, they will. They'll be doing something while they're watching it. But it's all about I think the environment changing, where it's suited towards long form content.
Doing something like, was that texting, or that could have been like a remote control car?
It's thumb exercise is what they're doing.
Like remote controlling cars and whatnot. That's
Yeah.
what kids love to do
Well,
these days. While
you don't have to tell me twice.
And drugs, too.
Yeah, well, all three. Why is that car moving so fast? So this is the conference for production executives, and I'm wondering what stats are important to you. So you've had a lot of years to collect data, and I don't want to go too far down like a big data path or anything like that. But is it number of views per user? Is it like, do you expect people to watch 100% of the video, or are you satisfied with them watching like 75 to 90% of the video? Given what are some key stats for you?
We do look at the hot spots in our video. YouTube makes that data available. So, I mean, it is very important that we retain our audience through the whole video so that, we never want to bait and switch our audience with a thumbnail or a title. We want to deliver on what they're clicking on and then be happy to come back and be committed, whether it's 4 minutes, 12 minutes, 22 minutes, or 2 hours. So, I mean, that is really important for us, is that, we're overcoming the urge to click away constantly.
Yeah, I mean, we want you to. You might make a decision when you see your subscription feed. You might make a decision to click on our video because of the title and thumbnail. So we always make sure that those work, but we don't attempt to game the system and mislead people. We know people who do game the system, and then when you click on the video, the red bar will be much larger than the green bar, meaning there'll be 30,000 dislikes and 2,000 likes. Our videos are about 98, 99% like, meaning that you get what you thought you were going to get. And so we develop a reputation that, this is quality content. We're not interested in gaming the system and just making ad revenue.
Right.
We actually are trying to make a career out of entertaining people. We're not really saying, it has to be online, it has to be traditional media, whatever that might be.
Right. I just want to remind people, if there are any questions, please step up to the mic. And
Bring it.
Yeah, they're ready.
Here comes a guy.
That's
There's a
something
guy walking up to the
challenging.
microphone.
Throw us
And-
for a loop, Make this difficult.
Okay.
Yeah. We build up the mic, and then he gets up there and it doesn't work. No, we got
First piece of
they've
content
got
I
it.
saw was the All Rising. I don't know what the name of that particular video. I love
Yeah.
that. Now, you guys have done, obviously, a lot of other content, some of it more produced than others. Is it a conscious decision to kind of make it look a little more low-tech? Is that, like, for example, the Red House and the Unlicensed Barber College? These pieces are on kind of on purpose look low-tech. Was that your vision, and is that what you kind of specialize in? Is that something you intend to do more of?
For all of our local commercials for real businesses, we intentionally made it look low budget. We degraded the footage. We did all types of things to embrace the medium. But I would say even beyond that, even with our 2 Guys 600 Pillows video, which, we put a lot of work and effort into making that, to achieve a high production value, make it the best we can make it. We still recognize at the end of the day, we called it 2 Guys 600 Pillows. So there was we recognize this appeal that even the things that we try to make look great, that I think people latch on to the fact, 2 guys went out with a video camera and 600 pillows and made this really cool music video. They like the idea of that. So again, it's, in a lot of ways, we still embrace that in the way that we, the way that we plan our music videos and shoot them. It's not, we're not trying to be, we're not trying to be J.J. Abrams here, so to speak. But then at the same time, embrace it, helping shape our audience's expectations that, we do want to take things to a new level. We want to bring you along for the, for the evolution as we're getting. What am I trying to say? As our production values increase.
I tuned out.
You
a while
tuned
ago.
out a while ago.
Yeah. I haven't been listening to you at all, actually. I've just been waiting for my turn.
It's been great. Well, now's your chance. Top that, Rhett.
What was the question?
I don't even know. No,
The local commercials definitely was all about intent. I would say those were intentional.
I said that.
Yeah, but everything else.
Next question.
I was tuned out. I didn't hear
Yeah.
you say that, so I'm reiterating. I think we try to make some things we try to make look as good as we possibly can, but we know that in the end, you know, our jib is like a broomstick, you know, and we just kind of embrace that. And it's going to come through, but people are going to get this subtle impression that all our fans, we want our fans, for a lot of the stuff that we watch, to think that they could also do it. Because if they feel like they could do something like that, they're going to like it a lot more than something that they know they couldn't do. I'm not saying that means you can't make really highly produced content, but there's just something about when you come from YouTube and developing stuff for that audience that they kind of feel like they could be there, they could create something, they could aspire to it.
Okay. Any other questions? Just feel free to step up to the microphone. So 2012, we're just kind of starting off the year. What kinds of things can we expect from Rhett and Link in the coming months?
I mean, we're developing film ideas and scripted ideas that could be long-form scripted ideas, you know, for television or, you know, like I said, even online as those things inevitably become one. So like I said, the challenge for us is as we want to expand into these different longer form mediums is shaping our audience's expectations so we can bring them along and that they can they'll be happy and they'll want to evangelize our work, you know, as it continues to develop and branch out.
Yeah, so, you know, we're definitely, you know, we got friends who are doing, you know, we mentioned Philip DeFranco. You know, he's got one of the premium channels. He has essentially an empire under his brand, and he's like, I'm going for, you know, I'm doing the online thing, and I'm going to do it as well as possible, and I'm going to have a lot of people under me who are doing things that are kind of consistent with my brand. We've kind of made a conscious decision to not do that. You know, we do want to be, we like working with people in the traditional media space, and, you know, now that we're in LA, we're taking those general meetings and we're developing TV and film ideas with those established companies, trying to continue to do things. But it isn't in an effort to say, okay, we use the internet and our success on YouTube to cross over, whatever that means. That's not what we're trying to do. We're not trying to leave the online space, but we're really just trying to do both. So, you know, maybe you'll hear about something coming out, you know, this year, something that we're working on in the traditional media space, and maybe you won't, but we're not relying on that happening in order to continue doing what we're doing. Sort of our bread and butter is the online space, and we're going to continue doing that.
Well, one of the things I think you guys position yourselves really well is, right, YouTube is no longer just in a web browser. YouTube, as you said, with like Google TV, you know, you can watch YouTube on your big screen TV, and your content is already suited for that because it's high quality, it looks really good. How is that, has kind of the ubiquity of YouTube crept into how you create content? I mean, how much of that are you thinking anymore? Are you still thinking predominantly like it's, I mean, obviously the audience is online and with the web browser, but as connected TVs become more popular, how is that changing your thinking?
Well, we thought about it like, our analogy we use is like candy and a meal, and we've seen, I would say a year ago, we were definitely thinking, okay, we're going to develop candy for the web, and we're going to develop ideas that are more of a meal, more of a world that you can enter into for traditional media ideas. And but it's like two continental plates that are, you know, coming together, and not really creating an earthquake or a mountain range. That's where the analogy breaks down,
Well,
I guess.
no, let's go with that because
Okay.
it's dramatic.
So what we're trying to do is we've got 1 foot, and that's kind of inappropriate, but I basically have 1 foot on each, and Link's on one side, I'm on the other side, and it's coming together.
And we're pulling. Like, let's not hold hands.
I don't want to hold your hands up here. But essentially, these two things are coming together, and then they will be indistinguishable, right?
Are you trying to say that we are trying to bring together television and the internet?
That's our mission.
That's
the
on us
announcement
now?
that we're making today. But we're trying to have a foot in each place, so as they kind of come together,
Our crotch will stop hurting.
yes.
Our groins are really hurting. That's what we're trying to say.
Well, there's a candy earthquake happening there. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
There's a candy earthquake
That's-
happening in my groin.
But there's a lot, I mean, it's sort of, but it's also like all the mobile stuff and all the different platforms. So is it, at the risk of, you probably would drive yourself crazy thinking of everywhere it could wind up, but it sounds like these are things that you're actively thinking about as you are.
Yeah, I would say, to simplify it and not use an analogy about candy and mountains, Rock Candy Mountain, Big Rock Candy Mountain. The reason that we're developing ideas with traditional media companies is because we learned so much. Making Commercial Kings and it not being something that was just the two of us and one guy in a room that begins to smell like men after a short period of time. Which is what our studio smells like. It was working at a production company and having a very skilled editor who never uses his mouse and just does all his editing on the keyboard. And a really skilled producer to tell us that, guys, this wasn't funny. You think it's funny because it's you, but you're getting too close to the footage. And that's learning to critique yourself and learning how to make something, because we're not at a point, most of the long-form web series that have been created, people are like, oh, the medium's not ready. Well, no, most of it has sucked. The bottom line is the traditional stuff that's happening in Hollywood, the TV shows and movies, are better content than what you see online. Now that's changing. But as soon as somebody puts together a web series, and there's been a few, The Guild, Dr. Horrible, and there's been some, but as soon as people begin putting together that incredible content, which I think is going to come from a Hollywood sensibility. It's not going to come from dude in his basement sensibility. That's going to get old. But when you get that Hollywood mentality to really critique, we became really good friends with a producer at Reveille, Todd Cohen, who produced Commercial Kings. And it's like we talk to him about our content now, and he's like very critical and very hard on us, but we appreciate that, and we're learning to be more critical of ourselves, and our content is better because of it.
Great. Well, thank you so much. Big round of applause, please, for Rhett and Link.
She's got a question.
We'll answer your question personally.
Oh, have we gone over now?
Yep.
Oh, man.
But thank you so much.
We'll just answer it in person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just going to tell you you're out of time.
What'd she say?
What was that?
You're out of time.
Oh,
Oh.
But
So you had to come to the microphone to say that.
we got it.
Big round of applause, please, for Rhett and Link. Check out. Right, I almost said Dope Donkey.
Well, I don't know if they sleep good. They may have problems sleeping. They'll die younger. I'm going to say something to these guys over here.